Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back yet again.
Yes. And just double check and make sure we got everything rolling good. So, I've been dying to get this question across when Cindy is in channel mode. And what we've gotten, again, not just from the Galactic Federation, but from other beings, of which Cindy has channeled a whole bunch. And she's a very, very highly unusual channel with exceptional abilities. And, blessed to have her sharing this journey with myself. And it's been fascinating. And it's an interesting ride, too, as I've shared with you guys. Mm-hmm. You never know who's going to come across when. It could be so powerful and transformative. So, if you had a question for Yeshua, the real Yeshua, the real one that is called by most of the world Jesus, what would it be?
I'm really curious to see that in the comments, because maybe we can do something with that. Maybe we could channel.
We definitely could, because he's very, very available, and we've talked to him many times. And going back years, when I was working in a clinic, I had probably half a dozen people that had experiences where they opened their eyes while I was doing energy work and thought that I would be either at their head or at their feet. They thought they felt me, but I wasn't there. And then they were getting visions of Yeshua working on them. It's because he was. And he's been working with me for a very long time. And it could be because I asked him to. Just that simple. Is what I used to hold in my mind's eye when I was working on people usually was one of two people, either Yeshua or Buddha, either trying to cultivate that love and compassion from those two great masters. For me to send that frequency out, I had to think of them. And again, that's where we get into talking about things like archetypal energies. But I think it's a misservice if we say there really wasn't any historical being of any of these amazing beings, which we've had interactions with them, so we know they're real. Whether we're talking about Yeshua, whether we're talking about other deities, other very evolved beings is really what we should say, from other pantheons, like Lakshmi, for instance, or Ganesha, or Hanuman, out of the Hindu, or what we take to be the Hindu tradition. We know they're all really very real beings. And yes, there are some small-minded people, because of their indoctrination, will view them, because they're not in the system they were brought up with, as being demonic, where they're not even close to demonic. We know demonic. We've had firsthand, issues with demonic entities all the time. It's part of what we do. And before I started this channel, I was part of a paranormal research group, and I did clearings, and I went and did investigations, and I cleared houses and buildings and businesses of demonic entities, as well as discarnate spirits and many other things as well. Things that could actually be called thought forms, because there is all of the above. And it's most definitely time for people to wake up to just how much our reality has been covered up, hidden, twisted, and distorted.
We're very much working, not just with the flesh and the blood. We're dealing with all kinds of things on different dimensions, different levels. And always keep in mind that if you're a light worker, and if you're listening to this, you're most likely a light worker, there's beings working against you at any given time. And there was something I heard the other day that just stuck with me. And what I heard was the dark side, they never take a day off, because sometimes we get tired as light workers, we can get exhausted. But we have to keep going, because like this person said, the dark doesn't take a day off. We have to push through.
And I think we are entering a period that's going to be the most challenging period that we may ever face. And this is a more challenging period that we're facing now than perhaps in many lifetimes past, as it's the culmination of many ages coming together. Many different cycles are coming to a climax now. Very, very long-term cycles as well. And so there's so much misconception, misdirection. There's so many beings out there that are, being basically used to give disinformation. Again, we can't trust the mainstream media, but then we trust the most mainstream versions of, for instance, religious thought.
Mm-hmm.
Why not look to see, well, what was persecuted and made to be heretical? Because that's probably going to be closer to the truth than that which is accepted by 60% or better of the population.
Yeah,
It only makes sense.
it's a brilliant point. Yeah.
I mean, look at it. Well, thank you. She said it's a brilliant point, but to me, it's just only obvious. The biggest religions out there is Christianity 1, Islam 2. And yeah, there's differences between what a Lutheran believes and what an evangelical believes, what a Catholic believes, what a Baptist believes. We get Eastern Orthodox, we get into all the little differences. But again, ultimately, the source that's coming from is going to be coming from Constantine the Great and the Council of Nicaea, and the power structure that has moved forward since then. Sure, we have the Protestant Reformation. We have a million different versions of the Bible, but what about all those scriptures that were burned and said that they were heretical? What about other lines of thought from other parts of the world? Why follow one little tradition from one little tribe that has really, when you look at it, captured the minds of almost 2/3 of the world? It's framed the world vision of basically like 2/3 of the population. Whether you believe it or not, it's ingrained in you. You've heard the quotes. It's part of your consciousness makeup. Now, the times we're in now are very challenging. Very challenging. Lots of light workers, star seeds, everybody is really, it's hitting the fan, so to speak. And it's been very, very disconcerting. In some ways, it's escapist to think, well, I'm among the elite because I'm one of those only people that have the right dogma. So as all the destruction is coming down upon everybody else and they're all going to suffer eternal torment, we're going to get carried away to bliss. And, we're going to have it great. We're going to paradise. Doesn't that kind of ring untrue to anybody? That it sounds like a really good sales job. Does it not? Hey, you could escape all this. You could escape the volcanoes, the earthquakes, World War III, the plagues, the pestilence, the famine. You're going to be taken out before all this happens, so you don't have to suffer because you got the right dogma. Because you dipped your head in a bowl of water, said a few words, and nothing else in your life really changed. You professed a belief, and that's it. You have a belief system that you go by. So you're going to escape it. Now, in many different traditions, they think they're the only ones that are escaping. I used to get Jehovah's Witnesses coming by all the time saying, you got to believe the truth. We are the only ones with the truth. And, of course, they gave us many different dates when the world was going to end, and it's still here. And most of them don't even realize that the founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses was a 33rd degree Mason and an insider in the secret societies. Same thing goes for true with the Mormon Church. Another 33rd degree Mason, secret society insider, creating another version of the truth, for lack of a better word. When really, all it's about is really consciousness. So many people are waiting, and now they're getting excited. The Lord's coming. He's coming. He's on his horse. He's heading this way right now. And because we believe in him, we're going to be spared. Everybody else is going to suffer. We're going to be spared. Well, it's not about that. It's about consciousness. It's always been about consciousness. Always been about consciousness. Taught to fear the serpents. And these two serpents are representing the Ida and the Pingala. Two nadis, or two energy channels that run up alongside the spine. You see the lotus. Why do we see the lotus with so many different depictions of these higher beings, higher consciousness beings, sitting on a lotus? It's representing, again, the chakra system, the Kundalini energy, which when the energies are balanced, the Ida and the Pingala, masculine and the feminine, negative and positive, it's the Tao, too. We could look at it from that point of view. Everything that's represented in the manifest universe. It's the Shakti energy that's dormant. Why do you think it's so distorted in this world? Where the Shakti energy is put down, where the divine feminine is put down. It's to create imbalance, inharmony, and to create an impossibility of raising consciousness. Why the wings? Well, because when everything's balanced and energy's flowing, the chakras are open, then you're like an angel. If your Kundalini is not active, then you're like a fallen angel. In a state of being that's less than 100% ideal, less than 100% of human potential. What's the difference between humans and angels? It's just a matter of where they're vibrating at, and if they're in service to others or in service to themselves. Are they in survival mode? Are they just simply battling with fears? Are they just catering to all the lower vibrational frequency things that we face in life? It's all about DNA. It's all about the Son of God bringing us the information that's going to bring back what's been dormant. They know this. They know this. It's all about Kundalini. And we got to go within. We have to have a regular spiritual practice, a regular meditative practice. Yoga, Qigong, mantras, these are all a part of it. We have to go within to cultivate that which lies dormant in, unfortunately, the vast majority of the population, but which would be blossoming now if it wasn't by the full frontal assault of the powers that be, the same powers that be that were here with Yeshua just about 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing to hear that and, come to that understanding. It really changes the way you start to perceive things. It changes the way you look at things. You come to many more understandings when you know the truth.
So, last night I was reaching out, and again this morning I kind of mentioned to Cindy I really, really wanted to see if we could channel Yeshua about the second coming. And also right now, because honestly, this feels like some of the darkest days we've had yet. And me personally, Cindy personally as well, it's been a real battle. And we've found so many loved ones and our own family members that are deciding to do things that we would never do in a million years. As I said to Cindy last night, and she knows, you guys have maybe seen some videos where we've done from mountaintops and things like that. Well, for me, that's like overcoming fears because I don't like high places like that. I always found it fun when we're coming down and landing in a plane because you got such great view as you're coming down. But for me, it was always a challenge to be on high places. And I said to her, total honesty, if I was faced between making a particular choice that many people, everybody's being faced with nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
or being up on the top of a cliff and having to jump, I would close my eyes and jump, because I know it's about more than just this one lifetime. That's me personally. What we're really talking about is something that can actually extend into more than one lifetime, and actually it could really throw the soul for a loop. Now, I don't want to bring more fear, but just basically make a statement of a plain fact, because again, this is a war about consciousness. And right now we're in some of the darkest times that we faced yet. And so where we have people that we absolutely love making decisions that almost feels to us like we're losing them, honestly. It feels kind of like you're losing a loved one, so to speak, because of their decisions, because everything is being separated into different camps. And this separation is so real. They really are literally separating us now, when everything about this time is really supposed to be about unity, because we would be coming together. Everything would be changing. Reality would be changing. Peace would be breaking out everywhere. It would be absolutely amazing if it wasn't for those that are controlling this globe.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. Again, once you know the truth, you can see things from a different perspective. You see things, in a different way. But you have to be open to listening and to, be willing to set down your old belief systems to hearing the truth. What really resonates. For me, it was very difficult to step out of the box because I was afraid of, burning in hell for forever. That was a legitimate fear. And some people who are listening to this video might be going through the same fear. But they do that to you on purpose. They do that to you to hold you down, to keep you from learning the truth. And I can assure you, once you learn to explore who you are, it's a whole nother world out there. It's a whole nother world. And does the fear go away? Absolutely, it goes away because you learn the truth. So don't be afraid.
Exactly. And again, recognize, because you'll have people, and I heard it a million times, I only trust the King James Bible. So you trust the words, the construct of a 33rd degree Mason that was head of all the Masonic lodges in England and Scotland, because he conscripted it, that particular version. This is again part of the bigger issue that we have, because we're always divided. We talked about 1871 and 3 world wars. It's planned from that long ago, 150 years ago. It's actually planned from millennia ago when you get down to it. This is a repeating cycle that's happened time and time again. And we've gotten that from multiple sources as well, from the galactics and the devas and the angelic realm. We have seen Yeshua basically teaching really souls, because when you get down to it again, we have all these different definitions, angels, angelic realm, everything is consciousness. Everything is what we would call an individual soul. There's the Atman from the Hindu, the Sanatana Dharma point of view, and that's the eternal soul, where like a jiva is an individual life, which obviously, these vehicles don't last forever, typically. There is ascension. There's even the possibility of ascension without death. That's been alluded to. There's a lot of mysteries, as Yeshua talks about, and we do have a channeling we're going to share with you guys. There is a lot of mysteries and a lot of, I think the terminology he gave was works of art, so to speak, in these scriptures. But the majority of it is really all about twisting and distorting, unfortunately. It's part of the controller's control system. And they've done this time and time again. So they get us to manufacture this reality by using our own, well, what we're expecting to happen, because they've given it to us, we've read it, we think it's going to happen, We're helping to manifest it. They know how the universe works, inside out. The secret societies know this. The secret societies know that the controllers are not human at the top. And they've been promised, well, your families will be okay. When the sun novas, don't worry, we're going to take you off planet. And you'll be safe. You'll be safe. Off planet or in planet. And then you'll be able to come out, you and your family.
They're just, again, it's looking at the truth and knowing the truth and coming out of that shell that you've kept yourself in. And it's a scary thing to do. I do think there was like a reference to once you learn the truth, you will be troubled. And you are, and you are troubled. And you're thinking, okay, so this whole time I've been lied to and things are not the way they are. They're not even close to what I've been taught. And that's really difficult to undo. It's really difficult to set that down, all of your lifetime teachings from people that you trusted. You trusted them, since the time from when you were like 3 years old. People you really looked up to and trusted have been teaching you things. But it's time to really kind of step out of that mold and be willing to really learn how things really are and not be afraid.
So we're going to share this channeling that we got with Yeshua. And what I was sharing with him was just how so many light workers are having a horribly hard time right now, feeling that it's almost hopeless. How are we going to fight this system? What does that look like, fighting this system? And, just feeling like the darkness is coming and starting to overwhelm, like a tidal wave, a black tidal wave of black AI goo. Imagine like Prometheus, we're seeing this wave of stuff destroying DNA and just sweeping over everything in its way. And so I will share it with you. And I hope you guys can hear this good. This is as loud as we could go. Again, we'll reiterate, but I think it came through pretty good. Okay.
Namaste. Thank you. You're very welcome. These are very difficult times you're in. I can understand the frustration, the anger, the injustice. I was very angry. Those stories are true. But I did not harm anyone who was of a good heart and soul. I did. However, express my anger in certain ways to the same elitists that are controlling you today.
And I just want to stop right there. So Yeshua was basically saying, it's okay to be angry. He was angry. And it was an interesting thing because Cindy picked up on this too. He says the same elitists that are controlling us today. And as we shared, these beings at the top are not human. If you look to the Sumerian kings list, some of them rule for tens of thousands of years. While we might have thought Jesus was talking about Caesar and Herod, he's talking about the real leadership here too. What we would call the Ajiji, their offspring, and ultimately the Anunnaki and the Draco, and that AI Borg collective that is behind all this.
Your anger and sorrow is justified. cannot remain, or your mission will become ineffective, and we can't allow that to happen. You need to feel your pain, sit with your sorrow, and release it like a balloon. Allow it to process. Do not allow it to eat at your soul. This is my advice to you, and it was the advice given to me. It is more difficult when you are in this 3D reality, I know. But it is necessary for those innocent souls who are trying to evolve. They deserve a chance. This is what we have chosen to do for them. There are many souls that would be dropped without your words of encouragement. We cannot allow the darkness to overtake us. We must transmute it. Take that anger, turn it into momentum for the light. This is one of your abilities that you are learning. It is within you. You were asking about the true second coming of Christ. What will this look like? I'm here to answer you and tell you in terms that your human hearts and minds can understand. At the most basic level, it is a vibration that overtakes you. It transforms your body and your mind, unravels your DNA so that you have a different perception, different outlook on things in the 3D. You see them more in a 5D nature. This is all about your DNA unraveling. This is what they are trying to stop. They are trying to stop this. They will hold many back from their rightful evolution. Every single soul that understands this is so very important. Things will look different. People will have compassion. People will have major transformations of the soul and the spirit and the heart and the mind. Will behave completely differently. than that of the 3D nature. People will take their ideas, they will share them with others without any care of how many care to listen. They will wish to take their newfound ideas out because they know that even one person that hears their new message is being helped. Their DNA is being unraveled as well. The Kundalini awakening is also a very important aspect of the second coming of Christ, or what you call the second coming of Christ, how the sun opens up your DNA very carefully, unraveling it, letting it bloom, letting it grow like a plant, like a flower. Many people will have this awakening and not know what is happening to them, to their bodies. It is very much hidden in the West. You are in the second coming of Christ. You just don't know it. You haven't been told. You are awakening now.
We expect you to come on a great horse and save everybody militarily. And they don't understand it's really a message of consciousness itself.
It is true. It is a message of your evolution. It is a message of you raising your vibration. It will happen naturally. There are those who have found a way to suspend this natural evolution. This saddens me. I do hope many people will understand that their natural source given gift is the gift of evolution, not to be taken by any one man. Things eventually will even out, but there's always a better way. There's always a better way.
Many people take the book of Revelation quite literally. And I asked the channel today to see if she could see how ancient it is. And she came back with that it's more ancient than when you were walking the earth. And that it's basically part of the play that they use. It's the script that has been played out time and time again. Revelation 22 talks about the Lamb of God and God being there with the people. And everybody worships God and the Lamb of God. Do you have a take on what is inferred there?
This book is better known by you and your scholars than myself. I go by man's natural evolution. I came to try to tell humans that their story is not written in any man's book. Their story is one of growth. I came to show people that they will evolve. I came to show them that they can evolve and what this evolution looks like. They have written stories for you to believe. They've written stories for you to enact. These are beliefs to hold you in a place that is not going to allow full activation of your light body. These are stories. Unfortunately, many people believe them. This is what makes them come true. This is what makes them alive.
Yeah, we see some things that we can take to be indicating Kundalini, like at Pentecost, and I don't know if this is just again a story or if it is something that really happened. But we see the little flames on top of the crown chakras of the apostles, and all of a sudden they can understand each other speaking different languages. They have abilities. Obvious reference to Kundalini to me.
There are glorious pieces of art staggered throughout these scriptures, throughout these books that do show the truth. They are small bites, the true glory of humans and what they can do. There are just small stories. This is talking about Kundalini and your light body and your crown chakra all having the ability to open up for everyone to feel each other's vibrational codes. This is how humans could communicate at one point, through feeling each other's vibrations. No words were needed. No words were needed at all. In fact, our language is created to confuse, bring chaos and destruction. Your human words are created to collaborate against you. The most important language is that of the heart. The heart understands. Many of you have been raised to have a harsh feeling or a harsh outlook on life. Many of you have had your heart chakras damaged through waves of trauma. This is very deliberate to keep you from using your heart chakras to understand each other, to trust each other. understanding what's been done to you is very important. But please know that I am here. You are not alone. I walk with you. My energy, my being. If anyone asks for me, I am right with you to teach you the ways of the heart. I hope this helps people feel better to know this understanding.
Thank you, Yeshua. Namaste.
Namaste.
And so that was what we got from Yeshua about the second coming. And you could hear that, it is tough when you're channeling, and it does cause pain. There are most definitely risks involved with channeling, which we're aware of. Cindy is aware of, and every time she does it, it does cause physical duress and pain to the body. So it is a sacrifice that she's making to get these messages across for everybody.
Well, I think when it's something you're born to do, you can't not do it. You have this feeling inside of you that you just have to do it. It's a craving. It's something that you have information that could help people get through these times. By gosh, you better share it. It's like a doctor keeping information that could help a patient feel better, keeping it to himself. You just can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
At least I can't.
No. So do we love Yeshua? We absolutely love Yeshua. We know him on a personal level, and it's not just through this life, but there's other beautiful masters also that have reached out to people throughout all different traditions, all different countries, all over the globe. And again, it's all about the heart, DNA, and consciousness. This is what everything is about. It's not about dogma. Dogma divides, and as you could tell, Yeshua doesn't have any dogma that he is subscribing to. He doesn't even know these books that are attributed to being inspired by him.
Right.
So again, this is all part of the controllers. Those groups that start with an I, end with an I. And the illumined ones. Yes, illumined in darkness, illumined in the ways of the world, illumined in this system that's going nowhere. It's not going to ever lead anywhere but back to the same starting place.
Oh, yeah, they are very aware of that too.
Yes. So again, and then they actively reach out for people to come into their system and to, effectively, are you really kind of throwing away your soul? Well, you can't really throw away your soul, but you can most definitely go down a darker path in service to, selfish self-interests that are all based on fear when you think about it. And as I've said before, these billionaires, Musk and Bezos, Gil Bates, and the Red Shield family and the Rockefeller family, all these people show such abject fear, because why else would they be hoarding so much energy when they could be giving it out and helping? They have the power to help eliminate poverty across the globe, but do they do it? No. The Vatican can eliminate poverty. Do they do it? No. It's not their purpose. It's not what they're all about. Those are your true antichrists. It's the system itself that is antichrist, anti-christened, anti-anointed, anti-consciousness. It's all about keeping us in this fight or flight, fear-based system.
And it's truly sad, because again, like I was stating earlier, this is something we've been taught since we were innocent children. And for us to hold this information, long into adulthood. And we go to school and we become batteries for these companies, just to go in and run their companies. And that's not how things were supposed to be. It's not how we're supposed to be.
And so what can we take from this? It's that we cannot allow ourselves to become like them, and we cannot fall into the hatred, and we cannot even allow the anger to fester, because that will poison our systems as well. I don't have all the answers, and I don't think Cindy does as well. None of us have all the answers, but you can see what we need to avoid. And yet you can't have an idea where we're going. Well, what is the second coming all about? It's about how life really is on that 5D platform of living and mentality and vibrational frequency. And that's all heart-centered. And that's all about helping and lifting up each other. So, again, when the Nazis had rolled in to certain countries and took them over, there were these people that created these underground railroads, so to speak. And even in the Civil War, in those times, there was a underground railroad to basically free slaves and to get slaves to where they could be free. Well, this system enslaves. It enslaves our minds. It shackles our minds in very, very self-limiting thoughts. So again, we need to get outside this system as best as possible. We need not to be infected by the system, pulled down into the lower frequencies, and to become just like they are, basically just constantly living in the lower emotions. Very challenging in these days, especially when we see our loved ones doing things that might really be disconcerting to us.
Right.
And, and it might really feel like you're losing friends, you're losing family members, you're losing loved ones, so to speak. So most definitely it can be very disconcerting, or never, knowing when you're going to see them again. We have family members that have been separated for the whole of this time, like, our good friend Osboy.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen his wife and child since this whole thing started. I don't think he's seen them since 2019. They've been separated, and that's just horrible. And yet there's more to come. But so we have to kind of not give in to the dark energies. They want us to become just like them, but that's not Yeshua's message. His message wasn't about, it wasn't about raising the sword, so to speak. A spiritual sword of truth that cuts to the chase and lets people know what's going on so they can get themselves into a better place mentally and emotionally and spiritually.
Right. And he's trying to explain that we're in the midst of evolving and our bodies are changing. And, we don't convey always with our words, but more with our heart. And I think that's the one that drove it home for me. It's like, and look what's happened with our hearts. They've been so traumatized, so damaged. It is very difficult to get a clear communication with the heart with people in this world the way it is. But, there's got to be, that's why I think it's so important to heal yourself, heal your own soul. And then that way, from there, you begin to grow and speak with your heart.
And so, again, this is a big trial. We're entering a huge trial by fire, so to speak, right now. It's going to test our souls. And what lies for us on the other side? Well, our reward. Is it as they've told us, where only a select amount of people that have the right dogma are going to be living in paradise? Everybody else is going to be burned in a barbecue for the rest of eternity? No, it's nothing like that. But this is the time of great testing. And, are we going to be in service to the greater whole and lifting this consciousness of this planet up? Or are we going to give in and become part of the problem itself?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a pretty big trial and a test for everybody.
It is. So much love, guys. Be strong, be prepared, have a strong, regular daily practice spiritually to root yourself. That'll help keep you anchored in the greatest of the trials that lie ahead of us. Thanks for your support in every way. Patreon and Ko-Fi, medicinal foods. There's a link on the top of every video. While we still have to be in this matrix at this time, we do appreciate your helping us to get the word out, sharing the videos, giving it a thumbs up, making sure you're subscribed with the bell clicked. And I know a lot of people won't like this one because, again, it's about waking people up to every aspect of the control matrix, which also includes all the indoctrination we've gone through as a child. And again, we feel this innate sense of pride sometimes. Well, this is what my family believed, this is what my parents believed, this is what my teachers believed, so it's good enough for me. Mm-hmm. Well, it's time to go beyond that. It's time to look deep, 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 recognize what's going on. We got to get off this never-ending treadmill that just leads to the same old thing.
Absolutely, and it's not easy to do, but I think the most important thing you can do while you're in this life, in this body, going on this journey, is to learn the truth and to be in alignment with your higher self.
God bless and namaste.
Namaste.